where death is following dough. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
I do love that scene.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Absolute Roundup, where we are here every month talking about the month's absolute releases. And this month is no different. In fact, this month we are going to be talking about the usual suspects, but later issues: Absolute Green Lantern number 4, Absolute Superman number 9, Absolute Batman number 10, Absolute Flash number 5, Absolute Wonder Woman number 10, and Absolute Martian Manhunter number 5. And I keep panicking thinking I missed one. Like, haven't
That's
read
all of them. For now.
Well, not that I didn't listen, but I didn't read one.
Oh,
And then I remember, no, I did read them all. I just
No,
keep
you got
forgetting. I keep thinking I haven't read one yet, but I have read them all. So we'll have to see what happens. All right. We've already talked about the news for Absolute Books. I believe we talked about it last week. But coming soon, if I remember right, in November. No, next year, actually. Next year in spring, we're getting a new Absolute book, Absolute Green Arrow. So be sure to look forward to that. I'm stoked. But, you know, that's next year for now. We're just going to jump right into our books as we do with our Absolute show. Starting off with Absolute Green Lantern number 4. And this one, if I can find the fucking credits, because they're all over the place in these books, is written by Al Ewing with art, color, and cover by Genoa Lindsay and letters from Lucas Gattoni. So we get, excuse me, a few more flashbacks into the past while Joe and Hal are having a fight in the present day, and we get to see Hal in a bit more of a nefarious design with the seemingly black hand taking over his body and almost kind of looking like Brother Eye a little bit. We have to see where that goes from there. But jumping back into the past, before all this happened, Joe and Hal and a third person, which I believe was Todd Rice, are just trying to figure out what's going on, having a beer, and everybody's up and left as fast as they can, except for those three still trying to figure out what the hell to do with Abed Sur. Hal has a gun at the ready, but Joe wants to just talk to him. So she, after downing her beer, goes out, talks to Abed Sur. Hal and Todd stand at the ready in a nearby alley, and Abed Sur and Joe just have a conversation about why Abin did all this. And he does kind of explain he didn't really do anything. Everybody else did what they did. And people paid the price for their own actions. He did not do anything. And in fact, she even asks about disintegrating people. And he says, disintegrated? It didn't disintegrate. No. Their existences have not ended. So everybody is technically, supposedly, still alive. And as he says, they exist in Oa. Or even further, they are in the second stage. And what that means remains to be seen still. But this is when Abed Sur begins to go up into his ship, high up in the sky, but Joe grabs onto Abed Sur and ends up absorbing the Green Lantern energy from Abed Sur, where she sees glimpses of all sorts of other alien species and things that Abed Sur has seen. The Green Lantern energy absorbs itself into Joe Moline. Abed Sur is left powerless, and his Green Lantern logo-shaped ship comes falling into the ground, crash landing onto the town, and that is where we saw it at the beginning of our series. And this is where our issue ends, up until the point where we see a very rich man in a helicopter trying to plan some shit and get some stuff going with Gateway City. And this man is none other than Hector Hammond. That is where our issue actually ends. So we finally get some answers.
That come with more questions.
Yeah, still some questions. So, but we do get at least some answers that were questions for the first issue. So we're getting there. But yeah, like I had a feeling not everybody was dead. I think I posted last issue that at least John Stewart wasn't dead.
Yeah.
The others, I wasn't sure. I figured they were dead, but John Stewart, I had a feeling was still alive somehow. But now we're getting confirmation that potentially everybody is potentially still alive. Potentially, there's no confirmation that they are alive, but potentially.
Well, he says that he hasn't that none of their existences have ended.
No.
But he also says that they are all still under judgment
Yeah, and
or
they're
being judged.
the
Whatever
second
that looks
stage, whatever
Right,
that is.
exactly.
They
whatever
all
that looks like.
exist in Oa, and what does that mean to exist in Oa? But that also depends on what Oa is in this world,
Right?
Yeah.
right?
Might not be the science cells.
No. So yeah, we'll have to see. There's still a lot of questions to be answered, but we're getting story beats every issue. We're getting some answers. We're going through some paces. It's issue 4. I'm still loving it. The art is stellar. The subtle changes in character work here is brilliant. And I can't wait to see what becomes of Hal with this Black Hand, because it's getting pretty crazy. This issue, not much else I could really say about it right now, is going to get an 8.75 out of 10.
I think it's really cool stuff. It felt slightly transitional in a way, but I felt okay with that. Fantastic art, like fantastic art. Story keeps rocking. In Green Lantern history, what are the things Eben Sewer mentioned? The Ain, is that anything that I'm just not? The Ain, the AIN. He says the Ain must be selected. Ain Roa, Ain Sewer, Ain Our.
Let me go back and look at that.
When he's talking to Joe.
Oh, no, I have no idea what that is.
So something totally new then.
But he puts
like
emphasis
there are-
on his own name, where he says, "I, the Abensewer, Ain must be selected." So it also makes it sound like maybe like a subordinate or like a secondary or something.
That's kind of what I was pulling away from it. Like there were 3 roles that needed to be filled, and like Ain is both the singular and plural form of the word.
But the fact that Ra was one of the words is kind of throwing me a little bit. The god that Krypton worships. That seems a little too on the nose to be just a coincidence. And Sir, the same last name as Abin Sir, but what is our or A, or however you pronounce that last one? AUR.
I don't know. I went with or because of like aura. I just left off.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure about that at all, though. That's not been a thing in Green Lantern lore that I can remember.
Yeah, they are within the Omega Alpha. They are in the 2nd stage, and judgment remains in progress. That doesn't sound great.
No.
He does say feared the card. And that's pretty interesting. I was looking for that other thing I was talking about, and I forgot what it was. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to change the spelling of cord. Just take out the W for some reason. That's I don't know.
Anyway, really good stuff. 8.5 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I don't have too much else to add, but definitely still invested in the mystery and the sort of explanation from Abin regarding the people who died. Definitely tracks with the theories we've had so far that maybe it's not as cut and dried as we think. Especially, I remember, Rob, you were saying that like John had that realization and then went to confront Abin and seemed to be more relaxed, accepting his fate, which I think led you to believe that there's something more going on here. So
Yeah.
clearly, we're going to see that soon. Also, Hector Hammond. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
That was interesting.
Yeah,
That was
who's
a-
connected to? Well, I can't remember if they said he was connected to Lazarus or just had worked with Lazarus. There was some kind of reference to it, but I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Nice to see some references to the other books.
All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one being Absolute Superman #9, written by Jason Aaron. Art by Rafa Sandoval with Fico Ocio on pages 5 through 7, 12 through 15, and 22, all with colors from Elisa Sariola. Letters by Becca Carey with the cover by Sandoval and Ariola. The Omega Men are operating on Superman and not having much luck, so he finishes it himself, removing kryptonite. Well, almost. He says it might pass out if he tries to get the next one. So, Omega Primus brings out a father box, and that does the trick. While it's doing it, it talks to Superman, shows him the current future, and Saul isn't a fan, saying it's super bad and he needs to stay away from it. He's healed, Superman, at least mostly, and he joins the Omegas in trying to free some people in Orangi, but arrive to find them all dead, hung by the neck. Then they are surrounded by peacemakers, which Superman quickly takes out. They leave, head back to the base, regroup with the plan to find a new base that was compromised, while Omega Prime is trying to convince Superman that they need to be able to kill in order to do their jobs and save the world from Lazarus. And he's not okay with that. We're then shown that Jimmy Olsen is being interrogated because he was left behind. I guess Omega Alpha isn't that high of a position, huh?
Right.
He's being interrogated by none other than Lois Lane, who we find out is still working for Lazarus against her will because Ra's al Ghul has said that he'll kill her dad if he doesn't. The interrogation is in Area 41. And they mentioned that they are keeping a majorly powerful person there that they identify as the Joker.
Huh.
I think
Actually-
it's so good. Go ahead.
I forgot that I read this at the beginning of the month, so I must have forgot about the Joker part, which I find very interesting.
Yeah.
Considering
Well,
what's happening in Batman.
You're going to see a trend through all of these issues. Something in common in any case. Most of them. No, I think all of them, except for Green Lantern and Martian Man. Anyway, going on. This is so good. It seems that the Yellow Sun isn't just giving him superpowers that we're all familiar with him getting, but also making him more angry every day. And that's
Yeah.
what interests. Toward the end, it even seems as though Superman is having a bit of a crisis of conscience, while Omega Primus is giving him her killing spiel. He's like,
Yeah.
just stop. It's not, he's not arguing against it. He's trying to think. That's not great. The art is absolutely phenomenal, and the story is captivating. It always feels like I don't have enough of it, not because the book is lacking, but the opposite. I just want more. It doesn't need it. And it doesn't need much of anything. 8.5 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was a doozy of an issue. It obviously had a lot of interesting stuff going on. I hope Jimmy stays alive. I really do. But this evolution for Superman, as slow going as it is, I'm loving the ride every step of the way. This is getting an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, this is such a fascinating variation of the Omega Men. I'm really just, I mean, yeah, there's the difference in how the sun affects Superman, all that stuff. That's certainly an interesting take, but I'm definitely not more interested, but really just kind of waiting for where they're going to take this direction. Like, what kind of team up will that entail? So good stuff. I'll give this one an 8 out of 10 too.
All right. And now for Batman.
All right, Absolute Batman #2, Abomination Part 2, written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragotta, letters by Clayton Cowles, and colors by Frank Martin. This issue is essentially the many struggles of Bruce Wayne as he tries to escape from Arkham and fails time and time again, juxtaposed with memories of Bruce and Wayland training together as he prepares for his fight with Bibbo, I think it said it was. Bibbo.
Yeah, Bibbo.
But yes, the first attempt sees Bruce somewhat successful, and the doctors are noting how he was able to overcome several different obstacles. But even as he was able to make some traction, Bane gets in his way and shuts that shit down. The second attempt, he was able to get a little bit further, but still the same results. And even after encountering a few of the other inmates in Arkham, still faced resistance from Bane. The final attempt really was more of a psychological breakdown as Bruce is now being taunted by the armor, which they just sort of leave hanging in his cell. And at first he's reluctant, just wants to be left alone, but eventually breaks, puts on the armor, and is ready to charge back out into the madness before Bane shows up, getting ready to kick his ass, but not before Batman conveniently, in his fight with Bane, cracks one of the cells open. And who should break out but a giant crocodile who Batman immediately recognizes as Way, aka Waylon Jones. Now, crocodile lies. I was so hoping they wouldn't go that route. And even though he's absolutely fucking sick in this design, I'm so sad that this happened to him. I loved Bruce having normal friends, but despite his form, Bruce is able to connect with Waylon, and the two of them are looking to mount some kind of escape from Arkham as they leap off and are trying to make their way through the city. But Bane is not worried in the slightest because now he can truly break the bat. So, pretty awesome issue. This reminded me a lot of. This is not like a new thing in Batman. There's always some kind of issue where he's like, in a cell or something and slowly going more and more crazy as he tries to break out. Like the Cult did it, Court of Owls did it, but I'm always a sucker for issues like that where it just shows the sheer stubborn nature of Batman. And even in his absolute variant, like he still has that stubborn streak of, I don't care how many fucking times it takes. I don't care how many days I've been trapped in here. I'm still going to bust out, even if I keep getting my ass kicked by Bane. So this was pretty cool. But also seeing like the doctor's notes on just how tenacious this version of Batman is super, super insightful. So love that. Really sad about Waylon, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Maybe there's hope for him yet. Maybe he won't be a crocodile forever. So give this one an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I got two problems with this issue. And one is the cover, because you got big ass burly Bruce, but his head is drawn like he's a child. And it just looks really fucking awkward. But also, I get Scott Snyder's having fun with this book, writing it. He's just going bonkers with shit. You could tell from the first story arc when he did that whole Batman AF scenario.
Frontal, baby.
But all front, yeah. But like, I can't help but just be like, this is too much when he decided to write Bruce using his stomach acid as a weapon. That was just a step too far for me.
Really? That's where the line is?
Apparently. I didn't think it would be, but I read it. I'm just like, wait, really?
I mean, this is Batman. He would use literally any part of his body,
anything.
provided
But
it
I'm
could
just like, this isn't the same Batman though. This is a construction worker that decided he was going to fight crime, not some rich kid that traveled the world and learned shit from the biggest masters across the
Well,
planet.
I mean, I don't know. We've all seen Goodwill Hunting. You don't necessarily have to have millions to learn stuff from the public library or something like.
But
You could
how do you
educate
learn
yourself
how
on
to
that.
use your stomach acid from a tube inserted to feed you?
I don't know. Have you read
That's-
medical journals lately? I mean, I haven't, so I couldn't say, but I'm sure there's a way you could figure out something like that. Like, what is the acidity of stomach acid? Okay. Is it corrosive enough to burn something? Okay. All I have to do is make an incision that is large enough for it to bleed through, but not large enough that it will kill me in doing it. I'm just going off of that.
Yeah, like
kind of thing that you
anything's
might be
possible, sure, and I'm sure there's a possibility that could happen. That's just like that was just a stitch too far for me. Yeah, that was Batman AF, all right.
I guess I'm more shocked. Like, that's where you drew the limit, not Batman.
Like I said,
kicking a child.
I'm surprised too. But
I'm like, whoa.
But my heart said what it said, and it said stomach
Fair
acid as a weapon. And nah, fam, miss me with that shit.
Although it is pretty acidic, right?
I'm not mistaken. I don't fucking know. It burns my intestines. I can tell you that much. I get heartburn pretty bad.
Gotta check the pH on your stomach acid levels so you can see how corrosive it was. Can it burn through wood? Can it burn through steel? I don't know.
Stomach acid can't melt steel tubes.
I'm actually curious now.
Your stomach acid is pretty basic. No, the rest of the issue though was fucking stellar. Watching Bruce slowly go crazy, and then at the end, yeah, I was also heartbroken to see Waylon actually a crocodile. Though I agree, the design was peak. It was actually so fucking dope. The designs in this alone, like it's not even just Scott Snyder having fun. The designs of all the characters in this book are just let's max out fucking every stat possible. Put all the sliders to 11. Let's see what happens.
According to Google, stomach acid is highly corrosive with a pH between 1 and 3, and apparently this is due to the component of hydrochloric acid, which is also very acidic.
Shit.
So
yeah,
there you go.
Hydrochloric is pretty acidic.
Actually, you should know that Bruce could totally burn through shit with the stomach acid.
I'm not saying him burning through shit with the stomach acid is a dumb idea. I'm saying the fact that he was able to actually access it through a tube in his stomach. He's like he shifted the tubes in the right way so he could spray stomach acid on somebody's face. Like, how do you even have the foresight to learn how to do that?
Because he's Batman. Obviously.
Holy shit. Batman? Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
Batman. All fucks, no given.
All fucks, no given. Yeah. So despite those two little nitpicks of mine, this issue is getting an 8.75. And actually, you know what? No, it's getting a 9. If those two things didn't happen, it would be a 9.25. Because quite honestly, like the mental anguish you see Bruce go through in this issue was really fucking good.
Yeah. And I love the backstory stuff with Waylon too.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Let me guess, you have a problem with the stomach acid too, Josh.
Josh, you're muted. I just looked at your camera.
I don't have a problem with the stomach acid. I mean, Batman's. Snyder, the way Snyder structures a story, I am always a fan of. I always will be a fan of. I love his writing style. I like the way he puts things together. I like the little Easter eggs that we got here. Langstrom and Isley, I'm sure most people recognized. I don't know if anybody recognized Elfern or not, but that's Dr. Death.
Yeah.
So I'll give him
he was in Was that super heavy?
Dr.
Maybe
Death?
not. What am I thinking of? There was like some an older villain, Batman villain in or maybe that was 0 Year. I can't remember. It'll come to me in a second. But yeah, I know Snyder has an affinity for some of the older villains.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give them that. The creative, they can really keep their stuff straight. The Easter eggs are cool, but
It was 0 Year.
the art's ugly and the story's looking as though it's aiming to be as wildly fucking stupid as possible. The moment they got me to come back, they introduced this fucking Bane, which is like even worse than the Black Mask that they had. He's 50 feet tall. He falls back and squishes 8 scientists who look like toothpicks underneath him.
Yeah.
He's at least 50 feet tall. They put Batman, I believe they said 6'7", 370 pounds or some shit like that, right?
A pure muscle.
And he's like a gnat. He's a gnat compared to this tiny-headed, technicolored veined Bane.
And that's before using the Venom.
Yeah.
Right. And
he hasn't even become big yet.
The Venom. And they did it to Bruce too. They turned him into a Bane, or at least very partially, but I believe completely.
Yeah.
They talked about spinal
what it looked like.
insertions, and you saw the big green veins all over his skin.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I think it's dumb. I can't believe I'm reading this wretched shit when I could be reading Witches 2 or fuck, even American Vampire 1876. I don't, anything. I'm just, I get it. You're having fun. You're going apeshit crazy, but perfect apeshit crazy for you with Batman is death metal. Anything past that is you need medicine. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll take this over death metal. I was not having a good time, but I will take you up on American Vampire 1876. That does sound pretty cool.
It does sound pretty fucking cool.
Wait, no, what am I? I'm tripping. I don't even think it's possible because Simon
the ending of 1776.
No, because Simon Sweet, what's his name? Skinner Sweet wasn't even like a vampire at that point. It wouldn't make sense. So
they did American Vampire 1776, right?
That was 1976.
Well, they can go back 100 years and have it be a different one.
But
yeah, it could be a different vampire.
But Skinner Sweet is the first American vampire. That's the point.
Here's the thing that I'm trying to get at. It
Why
would
not
still
just
be better
do
than this shit.
American Vampire 19? Why don't actually fuck this shit? Why don't we do American Vampire 2076? There we go. Skinner Sweet is in the future somehow. Still alive.
Still alive, and I'm down with that.
Which would put it 50 years from now.
Yeah.
Which would mean Neo Gotham and Batman Beyond.
I mean, if it was set in the DC universe, yes, but it's not, obviously. Not really gonna happen. But yeah, I don't know. Skinner Sweet in the future. That'd be certainly something.
I can't handle this. It's I'm gonna like there has been great like the issues where there weren't villains in it. Fucking great. But the moment they start introducing a villain, it's absolute dog shit. And it's just how crazy can we make this? We turn Batman into a Bane, but we're not telling you. We're showing you, but we're not telling you. And they're gonna break him now. And I imagine they're gonna break him by turning him into a Bane and making him Bane out and then beat the shit out of him because he's still not as tall as 50-foot tiny Bane. I need cocaine to enjoy this.
I mean, I'm sober. I ain't flying snowblind, so I'm enjoying it.
Fair enough. I wish I was. I really do. Because again, I'm a major Scott Snyder fan.
Hey, some books just don't land. That's the Wake for me, and I love Scott Snyder too.
Feel that. But all right, I guess that's all of us for that book. Yes.
Yeah, and we're gonna speed on over to another Flash title.
Zoom zoom.
Yeah, this is written by Jeff Lemire with art from, I want to say Al Kaplan, but there's
A.L.
downstairs.
Kaplan,
A.L.
yes.
Kaplan. Okay. Colors from Adriana Lucas and letters from Tom Napolitano, with the cover from Nick Robles, and that is a heck of a cover. Holy Jesus!
My word.
This one
Yeah,
is
that's
summed up pretty simply. Wally is in the sewers underneath the halfway house that he currently resides with little monkey Grodd. Going up against what I keep wanting to call Tar Pit, but is actually Heatwave, aka Nick Rory, turned into a magma monster type of being. Grodd convinces Wally that he can help Heat Man or Hot Man or whatever he calls him. Basically, Heat help Mick Rory. Wally eventually decides, okay, he puts on the costume he took from Barry's corpse, and is actually able to absorb some heat from Mick, which causes him to go above ground, straight outside the house, the halfway house, Dibney house. So Wally gets up there, toots sweet, absorbs a bit more heat. Mick Rory runs off, but this alerts the Argus people. They didn't actually mention it. Is it Argus or is it Star? I keep forgetting.
I'm sure it's Argus, right?
I think it's Argus.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, sort of, not really.
Yeah. Basically, Professor Thawne and the Rogues, working for the government, alerts them to Wally's location and Mick's location. So Thawne tells the Rogues, who were getting rather restless, time to suit up because we found the boy. Also, one more thing, your old buddy Mick Rory is alive, which they got a little pissed off because they hid that from him. They hid that from them. So who knows what's going to happen next. But the mission at hand is you guys go after the boy, but Colonel West is going to go after Mick Rory. Speaking of, where is Colonel West? And we see Colonel West deep within the recesses of the facility, comes across some weird ass spaceship, and inside is a whole bunch of aliens inside some tubes with a bunch of wires hooked up to them, seemingly hinting at the fact that these aliens are what's giving the Rogues their new tech and abilities. Also, a little side note that I just want to point out that
it's the stillness. I hate to break it to you.
Oh, fuck off. No, I can't deal with that again. Just let Wally be happy. Don't do it, Jeff Lemire. Don't do it to me.
Yeah, I doubt.
I've been
doubt
waiting
Jeff
for
is
you
even
to
reading that.
mention them just to make that joke.
But I did want to point out that Jeff Lemire made a note that these masks do not hide identities as well as they want people to believe. Because Wally showed up on the Dibney's lawn and Ralph recognized him right away. Didn't take the mask off or anything.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair, this costume doesn't really conceal an identity too well regardless, but there was no question in Ralph's mind that it was Wally. So,
I mean, he's got red hair and he's wearing goggles. It's
yeah,
not hiding his face.
It's not hard, not really hard to tell. So yeah, that's our issue though. It was a pretty quick one. That's not a pun. It really was pretty fucking quick. There's some stuff happening. This is also not a pun. The plot is moving a little slower than I thought it would in this issue, but the actual story was quick, if that makes sense. Next issue feels like we're going to get a lot of fucking plot development. A lot of shit's going to happen. The Rogues are coming. Stuff's going to happen with Mick. We're coming to a head soon with this opening story arc, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
All right.
But for this one, I just wanted more out of it. But at least we got to see Wally put on the costume.
Yeah.
That was cool. I just found it weird that it just kind of fits him though, because him and Barry are not the same size. uh, but who
Well, it's a
fucking
Flash
knows?
costume. Of course, he's going to make it automatically form fitting.
No, of course. The
Did
fuck?
you give it a score?
I coughed. Why did you fall over? This is getting an 8.25 out of 10.
All right. I want to point out it's yet another mention of Project Olympus, which we already know is Area 41, and something to do with the Joker. And also, Batman is locked away in a facility we know nothing about. Perhaps that could also be in Area 41 as well. Can't guarantee that. What we do know is that an absolute Superman and an absolute Flash, it definitely is. Whatever they're doing in there, it's on a massive scale and it's pretty horrific. I'm not trying to make any sort of puns here again, but when I do crack open an absolute Flash book, I feel like I speed through it. Like it's so much shorter than any of the other books that are out there, but it's not. It's not lacking in any way. I think I just want more of it to read. I'm having a great time finding out about this Flash's life and how radically different it is from the Wally that we know, and almost getting to watch Wally grow up all over again is a really cool idea to me. The story is great, the art is great, my score is great, 8.25 out of 10.
Right on.
Nice. Yeah, no, like you both said, this was a fast read. I think a little faster than I would have liked. Like, it doesn't really have to rush through it. It can definitely take its time a little bit. But I think for me, the stuff that was most interesting was not so much the aliens at the end or even the rogues realizing that their old friend Mick Rory was still alive. It was whatever weird connection happened to Wally as he stripped the heat away from Heatwave, and it seemed like for a moment he could connect with someone or something whose hand was reaching out from the beyond, almost like Dr. Manhattan or something. Obviously not, but that for me was interesting because I think maybe we're getting the first glimpse at a speed force or speed force kind of thing. The big mystery has been like what happened to Barry, like he just kind of disintegrated, but I don't think it's as clear cut as that, and it's very possible that Wally is connecting with Barry from the beyond, from some kind of plane that Barry entered either willingly or unwillingly when Wally interrupted his experiment and now is
Like-
lost.
Like his
So
essence was separated from his body and he was kind of like
essentially,
holding
yeah,
it.
which
I would
kind of
fucking dig
happens.
that.
So that's kind of my theory, and that's the thing. I'm like, I feel like this is just going to be a tease, and we're still going to be dealing with the rogues for a little while. But I really want to get to wherever that tease is leading to, because I feel like that's where the big aspect of the story is going to pick up. So, yeah, good stuff. And the panel where Wally's in that weird other dimension is just gorgeous. Beautiful double page spread. So, good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, Absolute Wonder Woman is up next, and I'm going to bring that one written by Kelly Thompson, art inside and on the cover by Hayden Sherman, with colors from Gordy Belair, and lettering by Becca Carey. The Maze, Area 41. It's where it's located at, mentioned previously in all of my reviews. It's where Lazarus is holding the Joker again, whatever that might look like. It's also where Diana and Ferdinand are. The labyrinth is in the Area 41. They're trying to save the siren. Diana does, sending her back to Steve and Etta. The red are dry. Hopefully they get her some water soon. Steve doesn't seem to want to, though. But do all that, but not before Ferdinand gets shot. He holds them back, allowing Diana to escape with the siren. She then starts to look for Ferdinand after she delivers her, who promised that she'd come back for her. In doing so, she is exposed to a hallucinogenic. She starts tripping. That drives her further into the maze. Finally, she reaches the pit, and it's no good. The fishmen are trying to throw her in, but the queen instructs them, throwing the scientist into the pit. She'll follow, dummies. And she's right. Diana dives to the bottom of the pit where they encounter a fire beast with a giant hammer. And you can make out a leather war skirt. And that makes me really hope that this isn't Ferdinand. The colors are so delightfully good in this book. The story is very much a page turner, and the art I enjoy in mostly every panel. I continue to be happy with The Witch of the Wild Eye. 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, this one continues to be a banger. Just look at that cover.
Right.
But seeing Diana's like psychedelic experience is like reading Swamp Thing. It was great.
It really
this
was, wasn't it?
Journey through the maze continues to be just really fascinating, and I'm with you, Josh. I hope it's not Ferdinand. I love Ferdinand. I don't want him to go. But yeah, no, I'm just, this is a book that I can't get enough of. So I'm like, please, you know, if we could if I could get this one bi-weekly, I'd be happy. So I give this one an 8.75
Yes, sir.
out of 10.
I didn't think for a second that it could be Ferdinand, but I also hope it's not Ferdinand because Ferdinand is great.
Yeah.
And he wears that leather war skirt. That's what's got me worried.
Yeah. Like I didn't think about it because the other guy that got thrown in the pit made it sound like that monster had been there for a long time.
Oh,
But
well, let's hope.
Ferdinand only just got captured. But I could be wrong.
Let's-
Maybe I was misinterpreting some dialogue. Like I was trying to figure out who I was thinking maybe Ares, some kind of god, but yeah, with the horns, like yeah, shit, maybe it is Ferdinand. Fucking
Yeah.
hope
Better not be.
not.
That's what
Better
we're saying.
not be. Yeah.
hope
But
not.
I don't have much more to add. I agree with everything you guys are saying. This arc, this whole book has been fucking fantastic and easily in the top 2 of all the absolute books for me. But this has been the most consistent, so this might end up taking number 1. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. 9 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
And finally, absolute Martian Manhunter.
Time for a little Martian madness. All right.
Martian mind, fucker.
Very much so. Though not quite as much mindfuckery in this issue. Absolute Martian Manhunter is written, as always, by Dennis Camp, with art and colors by Javier Rodriguez, and letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. This one also can be summed up pretty fast. Basically, Middleton, Colorado is suffering a good old blackout, which means it's time for everyone to act up. And act up they do, only they're not doing so alone, because they are joined by their shadow selves, who are basically helping them get into all kinds of mischief, which both John and John are doing their best to try and curb. We see multiple different examples across town where people are just kind of going mad, stealing stuff. One person puts like shards of glass into hamburgers. Another is injecting weird chemicals into chocos and leaving them in the store. There's your choco reference for my Martian Manhunter fans. But as John and John are just looking in on another example of someone gone mad during the blackout that they missed, they are unfortunately struck by an ambulance at that time, which knocks John unconscious and sends the Martian mind fucker into some kind of weird, I don't know what kind of dimension, something beyond, as he's sort of spiraling and looking to center himself. Meanwhile, John is struggling to gain consciousness, but the people in the ambulance are not exactly the kinds of people you'd want to be taking care of you when you've just been hit by an ambulance. They're more focused on, I don't know what they're planning on doing, but it sounds like some kind of freaky lobotomy as one of them prepares a one of those like battery powered scalpels and is getting ready to, well, operate on him. All the while, the Martian is making his way through this weird dreamscape, through various strange and uncanny images before coming upon an image at the center of everything, which he refers to as the Tiger Force. And then the moment I read that, I was like, oh, I know exactly what it is. but lands upon an image of Darkseid. So everyone is kind of in dire straits. And I forgot to mention that as all this is going on, Bridget and their son are sheltering in place, but it seems like they're have someone that is coming and knocking on their door. So everyone's kind of in dire straits at this moment. The Martian is coming upon the image of Darkseid. John's about to get lobotomized, and Bridget is hopefully not about to shoot a burglar. So that's where we leave things with our Martian mindfucker for this week. This one is yet another incredible installment, and I think, unlike the other books, is really almost getting to the heart of the darkness of the universe, like literal darkness of the universe, in a very different approach. It's not so much that the setting itself is dark, but it's like the Martian is stumbling upon the literal reason why this universe is dark, especially after we have the scene where he's stumbling through the unconscious realm, and discovers that there's something at the root of it, and that something is Darkseid. But even before that, all the narration is talking about the dark side that we keep within ourselves, and it seems like John is very much at the edge of this mystery of like there's something corrupting our world, but I can't quite put a finger on what that thing might be, and it's like we know, but they don't know. So I'm like, oh, that's so clever. I love that. So yeah, this issue is a little bit of a faster read than the others. I feel like there was a lot to chew on, but maybe it was just the nature of the absolute books this week. But a lot of them felt like I was just breezing through them. I don't want to say I wish there was more substance, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully next time I can kind of take my time and read it, because if it's taking me less than 10 minutes, I don't want to do that. I want to take a nice long 15-minute read.
Yeah.
Anyway, Absolute Martian Manhunter continues to be great, 9 out of 10, and I don't even need to say anything about Javier Rodriguez's art. Just keeps blowing the lid off of each page before it. So, love this book.
100% agreed. I didn't get as deep in it this month because I kind of sped through it this time. But just even on the surface level, just like there's some really dark shit going on, and it's still keeping my interest. There's no, as far as I could tell or remember, no Project Olympus mentioned in this one, but we did get that tease with Darkseid, which other books have like mentioned Darkseid, but none of them, I don't think, as of yet, have actually shown him on the page. Yeah. So Martian Manhunter seems to be doing its own little mystery with building the world around it. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to see where next issue takes us, if they're going to continue with that Darkseid twist. I mean, Mindfucker has kind of just gone right into Darkseid's territory, so I don't know if we're going to continue with that or what, but I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah, so it's 9 out of 10 for me as well.
Yeah, he's, as far as I understand, the first and only character that actually understands like Darkseid is like everything. This whole universe is because of Darkseid, which is quite the revelation.
Yeah, I forget. Even John Jones just kind of said at the end there, "Darkseid is." Like,
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, go now.
Yeah, we're getting places. All right, Josh.
I got to page 7 where neon sporting gang members were riding razor scooters, and I made a decision ahead until the ending. I made it to the ending, which should have been a shocker, but I couldn't have cared less. I honestly have not ever been able to find anything positive about this book, but I found something that I could say that was positive about this book today, and it gave people employment. Study employment. I'm all done reading this. This was so. This comic book took me an hour to read.
Do you need glasses?
No. I read a page and I needed a break. And I read a page and I needed a break. And I read a page and I needed a break. Continue. Rinse, repeat. It's just I can't get into it. It's not even like this is one of those books where I can't understand how anybody could enjoy it. But that's like the fucking any book that Riley Oswald works on. It's not just the art in this.
Oh, that
case,
Riley
though,
Ross.
because
Oh, what a scamp. It's the bane of my
in this
existence.
case,
That
I
guy.
think
I hate him.
I think that this is the worst thing that Dennis Camp has ever done in his entire career. I think score is not applicable. Or 1 out of 10. You pick.
Damn.
Enough said, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just can't do it. I'm glad you guys are still enjoying it, and it's not like suffered the fate of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But there we are, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Top 3.
My top 3 is kind of hard to rank because my top 3 books all have the same score, but I guess I'll put Batman at number 3, Martian Manhunter at number 2, and Wonder Woman at number 1. Favorite moments? I just don't know. I don't think I really have. I don't think there was really a standout moment this month for me.
I had that issue as well.
Really? Wow. Man, that's tough. Quite a few.
Like, there was cool moments, but like nothing that I could say is just like, yeah, that was so memorable. That was like my favorite.
No, I went with
I can go ahead and give mine if you're still thinking of it.
I mean, you can go ahead. I can try a little harder.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was the moment I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the one. Even if I wasn't a huge fan of some parts of it, but no, number 3. Well, mine are kind of similar to yours. Number 3, I have Absolute Batman. Number 2, Absolute Wonder Woman. But number 1 for me is definitely consistently Absolute Martian Manhunter. But my favorite moment, and again, while I am sad about the result, I can't deny how fucking badass it looks. Is the double page spread of Bruce riding Waylon. It's just like this croc monster. I saw that and I was like, how could you? That's why I was like, I'm shocked to hear you say that, because I saw that page and I'm like, what the? This is kind of awesome.
Well, it's just like
Joker Dragon vibes immediately.
Yeah.
After that whole issue and ending with that was like the least shocking part of the entire fucking book.
Really? Wow.
For me, because you up to that point you had Batman, like Bruce, going through the mental paces, losing his sanity over like the course of 3 months. You had the reveal of Waylon as the Croc monster. You had Bane crushing 8 scientists in one trip. You had stomach acid spewing out of his stomach. Like,
I've just become,
and then just like at the end, he's riding Waylon. That just makes sense now.
For me, I think
that's the least shocking part of the entire.
That one hit harder, was the more shocking, because I kind of knew it was coming, but I was still holding out hope that he wouldn't be turned. But all the other stuff is like, I don't know, maybe I've just become desensitized or become a fucking freak. But like, seeing Batman freak out and go crazy and go mental is like, that's like every other Thursday at this point. He gets trapped, he freaks, he centers himself, and then he breaks out, and you're like, okay, well, I knew you would do it eventually.
Yeah, it's just this mental break felt a little different, though. Maybe it's because it's such a younger, newer Batman, and it's like Batman's first mental break all over again. It's I don't know. This one also just felt like it had more paces than like the Court of Owls one, right?
Well, that was also one issue, and that was, I mean, that one was freaky too because they flipped some of the pages, so it
Yeah.
was just wild to read. But I still think the
Because
cult
if
is the
Maddie goes
best
upside down.
way that they would do it, where he's having all these freaky ass hallucinations.
Yeah. I guess if I'm gonna pick any moment, it'd be the I don't know if it was the final page. No, it wasn't the final page, but the dark side reveal in Martian Manhunter, because that was the one that just got me. Ooh, okay, it's finally entered the big world.
Yeah,
So up until this issue, my Manhunter's kind of just been in its own little corner.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's me.
Oh, I
Love
guess my turn. Huh?
Yeah.
Third place, Absolute Flash. Second place, Absolute Green Lantern. First place, Absolute Superman. Flash just barely beat out Wonder Woman.
I'm surprised Wonder Woman didn't make your top 3 though, because even you were raving
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, I just like the other three. That slightest tiny bit more. I fucking
Right
love
on.
If Wonder Woman was too, I'm not saying. Never mind. I'm not saying anything about the price, but never mind. Perfectly priced, and it should not get any. Anyway, I think there were lots of good stories. Nothing that like was major standout. So I'm going with the splash page of Superman being, I guess, worked on, exposed to the father box. I thought that was pretty wicked looking.
That was.
definitely.
That really was. All right. That concludes our absolute roundup for the month. So be sure to tune in 1 month from today.
We didn't do covers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about covers. Whoops. That
Yeah,
does
we got some
not
bangers
conclude our
this week.
absolute roundup. We had to do our favorite covers. I forgot. My bad.
There's 6
That's
of
Wonder Woman.
them to choose
Flash
from.
was
Yes,
cool.
absolute
Batman was
bangers.
weird. Superman was awesome.
I already
That's
got
Batman.
mine right off the top.
Wait, where's Green Lantern?
Where the hell is Green Lantern? There it is.
There we go. Oh, okay. You know what? That's my pick. Fuck it. There's so many cool ones, but like that one is honestly like Joe going up against Abin Sur there. That one tells a story, and it's
cool.
just really dynamic.
What one is yours, Brandon?
It's a very tough pick between Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Martian Manhunter for this week. The way Javier Rodriguez uses color is like, this guy's on another planet. It's incredible. The way that the beam illuminates the logo and everything, and sort of light reflecting off the flashlight. It's, man, I wish
it's giving heavy Junji Ito vibes as well.
Yeah, with the eyes and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, I wish I could be that talented at anything. Anyway, good stuff.
I'm fairly certain you could draw that cover, dude.
Yeah, right. God. You kidding me? With that use of shadow, that use of color? Yeah, I'm sure I could. I'm sure you could too.
Oh, I can't draw at all anymore.
Yeah.
Like, not even
Please.
a little bit. But
it's like looking up at the fucking Sistine Chapel and being like, I can do that. I could probably do that. Yeah, let me do that.
I appreciate Wonder Woman's cover because it looks really cool. And
it is.
Superman's is just like super detailed and pretty much literally flawless. But the Green Lantern one makes me say, I think I want to read this.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, that's the job of a cover. So I guess that's what you'd call my winner.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
But all right, that's the show. Thanks everybody for watching. Absolutely. we're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you